What's up, America?
Oh, wait. Freedom is not free 2008. Just so you guys all know.
We can't stop buying American t-shirts. We're the most pro-America people out there.
True.
I was a California resident in 2008, and I can say the buzz around politics in California at that time was powerful. That was probably the most politically active that I was in 2008.
Would you have worn this shirt in 2008?
Well, I don't know, because freedom isn't free implies something that I personally didn't align with back then.
Yeah.
And still don't.
Let me just say, as someone who's not a conservative American, I was really confused when conservatives used this line, freedom isn't free, because my father would use it as like a pro-socialist argument.
That's awesome.
So I was like,
I could totally see that. Yeah, honestly, my fucking conservative brain still says like, yeah, freedom ain't free. You gotta fucking crack a couple damn eggs.
Oh,
for some freedom.
Right.
I thought it was like, because my dad's like, there's no such thing as a free lunch, as in like we all have to give.
No, it's
interesting.
So funny.
Like,
it's almost like the same thing as it's either all okay or none of it's okay.
True,
like
you
there's
can
so
take it
many.
either way.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
So I mean, I agree, man. Freedom is not free. We should be paying taxes so all Americans have the freedom of healthcare.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. Freedom isn't free, so we got to protect our interests from foreign governments. We got to like up the budget for the
Defense
for the military.
Yeah, and crack a few eggs. AK.
I mean, we gotta do preemptive strikes.
Yeah, to Iran, preemptive. I still can't believe. I'm sorry. I just need to like make. I need people to revisit that the opening question for the vice president debate was, do you believe in a preemptive strike in Iran?
Yeah, that was nuts.
Hello. Okay, I did. Anyways, I
Next
feel like
question. What's your favorite flavor of Doritos?
Walls is definitely a Cool Ranch guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think we should open up before we get into.
Wait. I got you. I'm way ahead of you.
Okay.
But first, I got to stay on the topic because you mentioned Freedom Ain't Free 2008.
Yeah.
And I want to show this fucking funny graph. One of my friends who isn't really politically motivated.
The one from last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
They sent me this and they're like, you know some politics stuff. What is this about? You mind explaining this? And it's just a graph of like the popular vote in the last 4 elections, including this one that just happened. And it like draws a line for the Democratic vote, like all at the same level, but randomly in 2020 it was like so much higher.
Yeah.
And like sure enough, like this was posted like a day after the election or the day of the election.
Yeah.
So all of the votes hadn't come in yet for either candidate, at least the popular vote.
Yeah.
So it's just like a fucking farce of a graph. I just want to, share that.
They also,
with
I think, I mean, if you're using the same graph that I saw, then they zoom in on
a lot.
The top of it. So, like, you just look at the side of it, and you can see that it doesn't start at 0.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not the case for this one. This one does start at.
Oh, okay. I saw one that was like super manipulative, where they zoomed into the top of the graph to try and make this difference.
Oh,
like, more.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. No, I look at the side of it right now, and it starts at what looks like 50 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I don't know, when people like talk about stats, I don't like it when people who aren't statisticians and like understand what they're looking at. Statisticians.
I have no idea.
Anyways,
I had it right the first time. I think statistician.
Is
right?
it? I'm not.
That sounds right.
Statistician.
But it's stats can be fucked with. So as someone who grew up Arab during like post 9/11 era, the amount of times I saw stats absolutely fucked with.
Yeah.
And just
It's
interpreted
crazy, yeah.
in a specific way.
I've been a victim of that many a time.
Well, stats are so useful. I mean, stats can be used to like prove that you're right and they're wrong.
I love graphs.
I love using graph prove my point
So it's like
and being right.
it's so funny because Ian asked his friend, he was like, where'd you get this from? And his friend was like, Twitter?
Yeah.
Don't get your grass from Twitter, you guys.
All right. First thing we got to address, we had a comment on the last episode that I felt it was pertinent that we talk about a little bit. It was posted by Tan Wally. Last episode we got a little political on the last episode, as we do.
Yeah.
We talked about RFK. And when I was talking about RFK, I did some insensitive jokes and I was kind of mocking of RFK's condition because it leads to a kind of a different way of communicating.
Yeah, it's a tightening
Voicing
of
words.
the larynx,
Chords.
right?
I have
the
no
chords,
idea.
The vocal cords.
I know that it is neurological.
Yeah.
His thing specifically.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tan Wally said, I thought most of this episode was great, but I still can't figure out why everybody has been super empathetic and pro-disability acceptance has been going full mask off when it comes to absolutely shitting on RFK Jr. for his disability. I'm not sure if it's a super wholesome Chungus idea to perpetuate that it's totally cool to rip on disabilities as long as the person is somebody you don't like. I have a severe speech impediment similar to RFK's from a seizure I had as a child, and it was rough hearing that I sound like a broken Discord connection. Lamau.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as soon as we saw it, I think Anise and I both were like, oh, shit.
We independently saw it too.
Yeah.
I was like upstairs, Ian was like doing work. So
But, yeah, it felt really bad. And I think one of the reasons it felt bad is obviously we don't want to make listeners feel like we don't care. And we're just being generally like callous about these things and not thinking about it. And truthfully, in that moment, I wasn't thinking about it. I think I've been consuming a lot of RFK comedy content.
that's true.
I've been listening to this guy on TikTok who's just constantly doing the RFK thing, and I follow it for a variety of reasons. The main one being that there are funny scenarios that are being played out oftentimes.
Very dystopian. It's like, all right, get up, guys. Today we're gonna like talk about the health risks of not drinking raw milk, and like it's like some guy in his bed, like fucking waking up in this dystopian, world, which is funny.
Yeah,
but it's like,
or dissecting a bear, or eating raw goldfish.
Yeah,
all sorts of random shit.
Yeah,
Operation Dorito is in effect.
That is very specifically healthcare and body related.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're doing it, you got to do the RFK voice for it to land. And I think I just like kind of forgot that is obviously something that many other people other than RFK deal with. And,
I think like I felt extreme. I felt really bad because I was just thinking about like somebody having like the worst week of their fucking life. Mm-hmm. Not of their life. That's a bit dramatic, but like having a shitty week and then being like, okay, I'm going to listen to this podcast because like it makes me feel a little bit better.
Oh, God.
And then the people talking on the podcast are just shitting on you because they feel like they have a pass because like someone who has your disability is like a piece of shit. And it is true. Like I talked about this on Twitter a little bit. It is true. Like ableism gets such a pass, and we were both giving ourselves a pass to like be shitty
because
to someone
RFK.
because it was RFK.
Yeah.
And it is mask off. And it is like, I think for me personally, my biggest blind spot probably is
that
like ableism. I think I don't think about it as often as because it would suck ass if you're just trying to live life and then like someone that you like is like basically just saying shit about you that you can't control.
Very targeted, and there are so many different disabilities that no one asks for.
Yeah,
and it's really
there's a million things you could make fun of RFK for.
Right.
Before, like, his voice.
Yeah, and I think ultimately Anissa said something to me because I was kind of struggling with it because I've been doing this, like, pendulum swing over the past year, really, of, like, kind of figuring out to what extent I should be thinking about others because you can't spend your entire life, worrying about other people and their feelings.
Yeah.
but you also have to do that as well.
Well, it's the responsibility of being a human being.
Yeah.
You're constantly adjusting, you know.
So yeah, I'm like, there are certain things that I like struggle with. I think specifically in that episode, Anissa made a joke about what was it?
Jimmy Carter being a chicken wing.
Jimmy Carter being a chicken wing, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest, babe. I don't see how this RFK disability thing is like any different than being like ageist or like making someone feel bad for their fucking body
chicken wing,
or being old
skin.
or whatever. Yeah. And I think like ultimately it's kind of just like, well, if there was an authentic comment where someone was kind of essentially saying like, hey guys, I'm 56. I watch your podcast every day.
And I've got chicken wing skin.
And hearing you talk about Jimmy Carter in that way just really tore me up. Like,
hey guys, I'm 102, and I look like a chicken wing as well.
Yeah, but it's going to be less likely in general that someone who is older.
Also, like, this is my counter argument to that. One,
it's a good counter argument.
Everyone who, it's natural. Everyone's going to turn into a chicken wing when they're 102. It is a law.
Not
like,
Mike Tyson, though.
Well, Mike Tyson isn't 102.
Yeah.
When Mike Tyson is 102, he will be a chicken wing. We all turn into chicken wings in the same way that all babies come out little frog creatures. And that's just the reality of it. Whereas, like, people who, like, go through life being a little bit different because of, you know, whatever circumstances, like, they're just trying to exist through life in something that isn't the norm. In the same way that if anybody wheeled out a 102-year-old person to me, they would look exactly how Jimmy Carter looks. Yeah. I'm going to be a chicken wing. It's the law of the land.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's different. But if I'm curious what the comments have to say, because if they feel differently, maybe I'll adjust my take.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think, you know,
that's ultimately that's where I kind of like landed is like, you know, if a comment seems authentic enough, and that's where it's fucking hard, and that's why being in this position is something that I don't think people should envy, because it's very hard to be like under the microscope when it comes to these things, because you do have to like, it isn't like a perfect science, you know, you're going to offend someone at some point, or make someone feel bad.
I agree. I think we've had this conversation like privately, so it's kind of like interesting to bring it here. But like, it kind of makes me. You tend to like want to black and white everything, where it's like either this is good or this is bad, and like I think you need to give yourself more grace in that you're just being a human being and being a comedian or like an online personality. Like, you are going to say things that are, you're a human being, right? You're going to say things that aren't going to like either land, or like some people are going to be like, I don't know. And the difference between like you being like a person that is trying to like not add to the shit versus somebody who's just adding to the shit is whether or not you're evaluating post like upload or post joke. How do I feel about this? Is this something I want to adjust? Like, that is the black and white that you should hold on to, is like, am I someone who is open to
interesting
saying, yeah, that was probably too far, and adjusting, you know, even just like listening to it and being like, yeah, maybe
right, rather than just closing myself off to it entirely, which is the way that I'm thinking of it.
Yeah,
like,
you don't have to like,
do I close myself off to it or not?
Yeah, it's just rather more like, okay, yeah, like that was, you know, I think where, to me, if I was a person in like the commenter, and I can't speak for them, but if I were to put myself in their position, where it went too far is like saying his voice was grating and saying that it was like hard to listen to, which we both participated in, and the Discord call comment. Like, we both kind of were participating in this, like, just really laying it on. And I could see why that somebody would want to say something, you know. And also, I did say this to you privately. I'll say it again here. Like, that comment came because that person believes that you are a caring person who would want to know if you're hurting people. So now you like can be like, okay, I get that perspective, and you can add it to your arsenal, and then you can make decisions. I don't think there's a wrong or right decision, right? Like, obviously, like, as in, like, I don't think the world is going to blow up if you make another RFK joke. Obviously, like, everyone has given it like, I think that person was more expressing frustration in general to, the world's response, because like SNL makes fun of his voice. I think The Daily Show
we watched The Daily Show.
There's constant humor online around his voice. So if you're someone who has this disability and you're just getting constantly bombarded with this shit, and then you come to this podcast and you hear it here, I think they're like, you're someone who would be open to this, so I will say something. Because it's just a frustration in general of like, and I can empathize with that, but I don't want you to like be like, I can't, you know, make jokes or make mistakes, because I don't think that that's even what that person intended with that comment. Right.
Okay. No, I get what you're saying. And in fairness to the comment, it did come across that way as well. Even the Lamau at the end of it, it was kind of like
it's
a little bit of
frustration laugh,
levity or whatever.
Yeah, just like fuck, like it's everywhere. And it is everywhere. So
and I think specifically, even I think I should probably get better digesting skills with comments like that, because it is very easy. Like, you could read that whole thing and be like, oh yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Like, that could be your interpretation. Or you can be like how I was and fucking grind on it for a full day.
Yeah.
you know?
You were very, like, sad about it.
Yeah.
I don't even think upset is the right word. I think you really don't want to cause harm to people. Like, that seems to be your main focus lately.
Well, yeah, specifically, I think this idea of, whoa, I just caught a stray.
Oh.
Like, people catching strays is kind of like, it feels like I don't have control.
Yeah.
And that, like, is a little worrisome. Because I see other people do it all the time, and it takes a little bit of, I don't know, like, maybe it's just something with time I'll learn that it's really not that big of a deal.
Well, you're also a human. You don't have full control.
I know.
And that's okay.
Fiona, get out of there.
You know, that's just the way it is. It doesn't mean that you stop.
Yeah, that's fair. And I will say, to not to minimize what the commenter was saying, because I think it's valid, but you know, if you obviously don't have that disability and you think this is like a little bit like much, I just want you to know that it isn't much. It's more like we consider it an interesting talking point, because this has been kind of part of my existence online, is thinking to what extent my words have impact on people. So
yeah. I think it's really interesting because I think a lot of people think that I'm telling you like how to feel or what's going on, but it's often the opposite, where I think you really punish yourself or you really get frustrated, and then it's me trying to tell you like it's okay, like it's, you know, I think it's hard to know how serious to take things when you haven't been the recipient of how do I explain this? If your existence has never been like the recipient of constant like jokes and judgment,
right,
it's really hard to know how much one specific comment is a big deal, and where you're kind of on the scale of like, how much damage am I doing? And I think that it's really hard for you to kind of like know like where you're putting your feet and how hard you're putting them down.
Right. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that does make sense.
So,
I like that way of phrasing it.
Yeah. And it's I can't speak for everyone, but as someone who, you know, again, grew up Arab, post 9/11, when you're getting bombarded by a million people in different ways of different amounts of damaging, for me, if one of my favorite creators made an ignorant joke, my feelings would be annoyed and disappointed, but I'd be like, that's the reality we live in. That's not their specific fault.
Yeah.
That's the reality we live
Yeah.
in.
It's just another little reminder, basically.
Yeah, of just like, oh, I am participating in something that I probably just, I should, put my foot off the gas on. And I think if people more often, like, if fucking Jeff Dunham came out tomorrow and literally just said, yeah, guys, Ahmed the dead terrorist was a bit much. I would be like, holy
Whoa.
shit.
Bro's gone woke.
I would just be like, that's so nice. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that.
Yeah.
And then that would be it.
Yeah.
I would have no ire.
Okay, that's also a great point because there is this caricature as well
Yeah.
of like people who want to bring that up. So like putting my conservative cap on, my don't get offended cap on.
Yeah.
Comments like the comment that I saw that, made me sad. I was like I would look at that and be like, "Man, you need to toughen up."
Yeah, that's what
Right?
your brain, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I think that's where a lot of people clearly, half the country kind of come from.
Yeah. Oh, wokeism is dead. That's just, I've seen that article a million times.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just this idea of like, oh, look at you. It's like you can attribute so many things to that
Yeah.
that really it's not about.
Yeah.
Like attention seeking is one of
Yeah.
those things that
Yeah.
can be attributed to it. Making your fucking issue everyone else's issue.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of like stifling communication.
Yes. Well,
And-
it's pushing individualism.
Yeah.
Which is, individualism is anti-community, which is anti-human.
Well, and I think a lot of these people really would feel bad. They do feel bad in those instances, and they really
course.
do not want to feel like they have any amount of responsibility in it.
Yeah.
And they
Yes.
also make it big.
Well, it's avoidance.
Yeah.
It's avoidance. And again, it's individualism in a weird way where it's like, I have my individual problems and I have my individual
And I'm not being
feelings.
taken care of for those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't bring your individual problem. We are individuals and we are not,
Yeah.
I don't need to take care of you. You don't need to take care of me, which is very like conservative. I mean, that's kind of how we've gotten to
Absolutely.
the point that we're at. And it's stifling communication. Whereas like communication doesn't have to be scary.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really has kind of thrown a lot of people off. I think even your apology video, it was meant to be communication. And to a lot of people, that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a big deal. It literally, like, to a lot of people, just hearing like, yeah, that was a bit much. I'll try not to do it again.
Yeah.
I'll be better. And I'll keep like being, that's all people really want to hear. Like at the end of I think most people.
Yeah, but
again,
it
I can't
becomes.
speak for-
Yeah, I would say I agree with that. I think most people get behind that, like the silent majority.
Yeah.
It's so hard though to, for people, I think, to believe that is true. When ultimately, if you put something out like that, the noise you're going to get back is
definitely. If
whoa, they just said what they said was a bit much. It's not a bit much. It's
Yeah.
killing people.
No. If you're chronically online, online, and you're only getting interactions from online, spaces, and you're not getting dissenting voices, I think you very easily could believe that the majority of people, especially on the left, are like that.
Yeah.
But like if you talk to regular people who are of different like minority groups, I know like almost all of them are like, yeah, I just don't.
Yeah.
I just want to have it acknowledged that it's a bit fucked up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and I like how you said it before. It's one of the things that I like. I don't know. It's a phrase you've used a few times, which is like, just don't be part of the problem. Like, just don't contribute to the shit.
Yeah.
Is like, I think, a good way of putting it, because it is just that. It's just like,
that.
just trying to not contribute to the
Add
shit.
to it. But you're
Add
one
to it.
person who is a part of a much bigger. I mean, we look at the like Islamophobia thing that's like happening right now online with like Twitch and YouTube and all this weird shit that's going on. And there's a spectrum of content creators that are out there that are saying different degrees of Islamophobic shit. And there's like, for me, a lot of them, when I look at them and I look at what they're saying, I'm like, oh, you know, God bless you. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah. And I'm not going to judge this person past that, you know? And for most people, that's where I'm at. There's some people where it's like, you know, you've crossed a line, obviously, for me. But a lot of people, I just see it as you're contributing to the shit and you're a victim of this thing, right? Which is just people being shitty collectively. So I, again, would like to believe that that's where most people are at. And if they see somebody just trying to stop contributing as heavily to it, that's very comforting. It just feels like, okay, there's human beings who care. Yeah. Still. And care about community. That's it.
It's very awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for guiding us on this little journey.
Well, just, you know, saying something because it's important. I don't want to be an echo chamber in that way. And by the way, we can tell the difference between concerned trolling and not. So,
well, yeah, I will say, for what it's worth, like this, I mean, it should honestly be a video all on its own. Yeah. Maybe that'll eventually come. It's one of the sickest, weirdest little things that people online do.
Yeah, the concerned trolling.
Is, pretending to be offended so that they could fight a battle.
Yeah. I know.
But they don't actually. They're fucking apathetic about everything.
I hate
just want
concerned trolling so
create
much.
little wars, little proxy wars everywhere.
But it's so obvious. Like, I feel like it's so... There's so many telltale signs of when someone's concerned trolling. Yeah. Sorry, Dane, you've just been listening this whole time. Do you have any input on this at all?
No, no. I mean, I was just letting you guys go off. I could tell you guys were. This is something you guys wanted to get off your chest. So it's good. But I will say, I mean, Ian, your experience with like reading it and kind of like your instinct is to be like you're just a softie or whatever. I feel like that's kind of relatable because like I think that what your instinct is, and this is like my instinct, and I think this is a lot of people's instinct, is to whenever they see something like that, they go to the principality of it. They're like focused on the principle of the thing. And the principle of the thing is like, oh, so I can't make jokes.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to make jokes now, like that. But the thing is, it's like, that's never what anyone is ever talking about whenever they bring those things up. They're talking not about the macro of the whole situation. They're talking about the micro. They're talking about this very specific thing. And I think a lot of people, like, it's very easy to get tricked into thinking that they're talking about like this big overarching blanket thing.
Yeah.
But what they're really just talking about is this one specific instance, and it's so easy to just get blinded by like defending your principles. Right?
Interesting.
And I have run into that a few times where I'm just like, somebody brings something up where they're like, oh, maybe you shouldn't say that, and I'm like, oh, so I can't say anything. Like, it's just, like, but that's such an easy trap to fall into, I feel like, and I think it's good to be like, oh, they're not saying that I shouldn't make jokes. They're saying I shouldn't make jokes about this specific thing in this specific context.
Yeah.
Because you might hurt someone's feelings. And that, I feel like it's like, at that point, it's like, you shouldn't think like, oh, how important is it to make jokes about RFK to me? It's really not that important. Like, it's definitely not as important as the principle of being able to make jokes, like, as a blanket thing.
Yeah.
Because that's understandable to be defensive of. But it's not really that important to be defensive of, like, I should be able to make jokes about a disability, a very specific disability. Like, you should be able to let go of those little tiny things. I think that that's, like, a mature thing to be able to do.
Yeah. It's very adult.
But people, I think it's like, it is noble to defend your principles, but very rarely is that ever actually being attacked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a super good point.
Yeah.
This actually, I think, is a very pertinent time to bring up the Tony Hinchcliffe thing with Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So we already talked about it last time, but he came out with like an explanation of it. Have you heard this, Dane?
Yeah, his explanation. Oh, man.
No, I haven't heard anything.
So, yeah, I think it was probably on the most... I just saw a clip of it on TikTok, but he basically, I think, is at a Kill Tony thing, and he says that, yeah, apparently a lot of people don't know that Puerto Rico has a landfill overcrowding problem. Not overcrowding. That's not, I didn't mean to say that. They're overfilled, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, basically like the people watching or listening to me weren't educated on what Puerto Rico is, a fact about Puerto Rico, I guess.
Yeah, Puerto Rico's trash problem.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if I would have known that Puerto Rico actually was literally a pile of garbage in the middle of the ocean, then I would have laughed. If I would have known that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Okay.
Anise and I were talking about it, and I was just thinking about like how none of that helps the case at all, and how like I can't.
There's not a country on this planet that doesn't have a trash overcrowding problem, overstimulated trash problem. The countries are being overstimulated by trash.
Just go to New York City. I mean, like, I've never been there, but I've seen fucking pictures. Like,
you
they
could
always
type
have
in
trash
any
problems.
place on Google and get a result, an article, because at some point that landfill is gonna get full.
Yeah, we have a lot of trash,
and the local people are like, "All right, time to write an article. We got a problem."
We make a lot of trash.
Yeah,
we're sending it into space right now.
Yeah, are we?
I think so. I think we're sending.
Well, there is a lot of room
space.
out there.
Yeah,
not for long.
Yeah, soon we're gonna fill space with trash.
Just wait. Human beings are capable of great things, Dane.
They were gonna fill the infinite void of space with garbage. Yeah.
Just wait. Have you seen how many bags they use in at
Trader Joe's?
Yeah, Trader Joe's. They're doubling.
What are you talking about?
No, I think
you can ask them. No, you can ask them to double bag it.
They're bringing straws back. We're in trouble.
They're just saying shit, right?
What? They're bringing straws back.
Okay.
Hey, that's one thing. I'm glad about that. I hate paper straw.
No,
I think it's like not a very controversial take.
No. I was making a joke. I was trying to make a joke that the straws are actually saving the planet. Us removing the straws.
Okay.
And we're bringing them back, so now we're going to ruin it.
I get you.
Mm-hmm.
I was just making a joke.
That's why I voted for Trump. Because he said he was going to bring back straws.
Ousted. Dane's been
bring
ousted.
Back straws.
Did you know 80% of Seattle basically voted for, or King County voted for Kamala?
It was 70.
No, it was like 78.
Oh, 78.
Yeah, we live in a blue state. I mean, that's not very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, 78 is pretty surprising.
Dabu dee dabu die.
Oh.
If you watch, I mean, have you seen people around here? They're
That's
liberals.
True. Yeah.
They're liberals.
That's true.
They're blue to their gills.
My therapist...
They're carrying around iced coffees and have tattoos. They're liberals.
That's true. My therapist has a septum piercing, so I knew exactly where she sat on the political spectrum.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that was pretty much it.
Anyways, sorry, Tony Hinchcliffe. We still don't find you funny.
Yeah. Well, just do better. You know?
Can I just say I didn't find that particular joke funny.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
so maybe
Dane.
I'm not writing off. I'm just saying, like, I just don't want to write off a comedian for one joke. I haven't heard anything else. I haven't heard any of his stand up. I've just seen him on his Kill Tony show. He doesn't really make jokes on that.
Dane throwing it back for Tony.
Hey,
Hinchcliffe.
I thought we were supposed to be fair and balanced.
Riding it for Tony Hinchcliffe. No, you're right.
We should actually steal that slogan from Fox.
Yeah.
We should call this shit fair and balanced.
Fair and balanced. No, Dane, you're right. I'm sorry, Tony Hinchcliffe. You might be a funny guy. I don't know. I don't know you.
We should repurpose that. We should say the She Ruined My Career podcast. We're tough but fair.
Okay.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, Tony. You might be the funniest guy on planet Earth. I don't.
It's subjective, so I could never possibly know.
I'm just saying. I don't even know if he has like a special or anything. Right. I don't know anything about the guy except he's on Joe Rogan and has that show where he bullies people. That's all I know.
which could very well be very funny. I don't know. I've never watched.
Well, I have watched a few, like 3 or 4 full episodes of Kill Tony.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. It was a little difficult, but I mean, I stuck it out.
No, yeah. I mean, it's good to be open and curious, a curious cat when it comes to other content creators. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think I've hit my stride when it comes to being just in my own bubble. I'm happily in my little bubble. I'm at the point now where I just don't, I'll like see something and I'll be like, I don't want to watch that just because I think it will make me mad.
That's
So
pretty awesome.
Well, I mean,
click on
it's
it.
easy. I think that it's good to be able to identify when something is designed to make you mad.
Yeah, that's true.
When something is just something that might make you mad but doesn't intend to make you mad, I think that that's like probably a healthy thing to at least try and watch.
I like
or
staying
consume.
informed, but like, let me put it this way. If I see an Asmongold clip on my Twitter feed, I am not watching
Well,
that shit.
that falls into the category.
Yeah,
of
no, that's
something-
true. You're right.
He
Dan.
clearly just, what do you call it? Clip farming?
That's
It's
smart.
also collaborative because a lot of these, streamers in general, especially when you get big, you're just fucking doing your thing. And you can have an idea of when something's going to be clipped, but you aren't even the one doing it. you
No,
know?
yeah. What do they call it? Clip chimping? No, I think clip chimping is when someone else clips you out of context to get attention.
Oh,
That's called clip chimping.
interesting.
And then I think
It's not very easy to keep track of.
I think there's another term for like if you're trying to bait clips. Like I think Jinxie's really good at baiting clips.
Okay.
Clip farming. Clip
Oh,
farming.
isn't that what you said earlier?
It was, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dane. I wasn't listening.
No, I thought
No,
you
it's
said
fine.
it.
You
Oh,
would.
did I say
I
it?
don't know.
I wasn't listening to myself.
Oh no, I said clip farming, but you
Oh.
guys didn't hear because you weren't listening to me.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I'm
okay.
sorry, Dane. That was
Well,
really rude.
okay. We're just going to move on from this segment. Maybe start from scratch.
I was clip farming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, the event. It was on Netflix. It was streamed to millions of Netflix users.
And can I just say, fuck you, Netflix. You kicked my poor mother out of the app, and she couldn't watch her hero,
Oh.
Katie Taylor.
Oh.
And she panicked. She was panic texting me, and I couldn't help her. She can't.
She was watching something else, and so
No, the
people-
app, like Netflix, like fucking stopped working for her. She couldn't watch
Oh,
it.
this was separately. Oh, damn.
Yeah, she was watching it live, and right before the Serrano Katie Taylor fight, she couldn't. It stopped working.
I'm going to speak for the audience. I don't think any of them care.
That was to Netflix. That wasn't to our audience.
Okay, I'm going to speak for Netflix. They do not care.
Well, explain to the folks at home what's even the point. Because there was like a thing with Netflix, buffering and having problems.
Yes, so Netflix was not ready for the amount of people that were using their servers and logging on and watching their live stream service. It was pausing for everyone,
I mean, it's the
including
first
us.
time they were doing a live event, right?
I'm not sure.
Maybe
but-
close.
But close to one of the but I mean, they had to. Everyone was talking about that shit. Your mom texted you. My mom texted me. Our barista, who looks like she would never even log on to the internet, let alone know who Jake Paul is,
Yeah.
was talking to us about it in the morning. Everyone and their dog was going to watch this. I just feel like they should have been a little more.
How are you going to fucking be prepared for that shit? You just can't. You just can't.
But yeah, it was freezing. And before we get into the Tyson Jake Paul thing, I just want to say the fight before that fight was the real fight to care
That
about.
was the real fight. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
They were clapping.
Yeah. What?
Clapping each
clapping.
other across the face. I don't know. They were hitting each other.
They Katie.
Jake Paul said that at one point. I think he said after the Mike Tyson fight, he said that was a good clap or something like that.
Oh.
Oh no, he said slap. That was a good slap.
Oh.
I don't know.
But Katie Taylor, for those of you who don't know, Irish boxer,
Olympic gold medalist.
She actually was boxing at a time when women were banned from boxing gyms in Ireland.
Yeah.
And she used to dress up as a boy and sneak in there to go train.
Crazy.
And, you know, Serrano is obviously like Puerto Rican's gem. She's a great fighter.
Well, yeah, it's crazy.
Had a fuck ton of knockouts.
All the women in their age group
Yeah.
grew up with women like not being allowed to box.
Yeah.
Like
Clarissa Shields.
full stop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Clarissa Shields, Serrano, Taylor.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good fighters, female fighters, that, yeah, they weren't allowed to, a lot of them literally were not allowed to be in boxing gyms.
Yeah.
Still in Ireland, it's still hard.
Yeah.
I think Katie Taylor kind of paved the way, but that fight was crazy. The Katie Taylor Serrano fight. There were some things that were said in the heat of the moment from Serrano that she walked back this morning on like Twitter. But you know, Katie Taylor, there were people asking me, not that I'm the boxing authority, but there were people asking me on Twitter, like, what do I think about the headbutts? Because people were accusing Katie Taylor of, you know, headbutting intentionally. It's very obvious it's not intentional. It's just her style of fighting, especially when they're close. And she was trying to clinch Serrano a lot. Like, that was obviously part of her game plan. And when you're clinching, chances are you're going to hit heads a couple times. And that's just how she fights. So do I think it was intentional? No. Is it frustrating for the other fighter? Yeah, of course. I mean, clinching in general is frustrating. So, but Katie Taylor won. And I think the right fighter won.
I was also thinking about that specifically, like if I was in that situation, either Amanda or Katie, well, specifically with Katie, like if that is your fighting style and you're head down a lot of the time, which many fighters are that way, a lot of Mexican fighters, a lot of just like swinging, you know, the top of your head is much more fucking like resilient than you just like chin up in the air. That's why most people are right down here when they're boxing.
Yeah.
So like even if Katie wasn't intentionally headbutting or whatever, I mean, it's fucking recorded in front of millions of people, so it's sort of ridiculous to think that she would even think she could get away with that.
Yeah, I mean, and she did get points taken away.
Yeah, she did.
So,
but the idea of like now you have to nurse this other person's injury and you have to fight around and fight differently for this other person isn't how boxing works. It's not how fighting works.
Yeah.
So if she does put her head into Serrano just during the clinch, that is not her being like a bad sportsman.
No.
That is literally the clinch, and she would be fucking herself by saying, oh, I'm going to, you know, I'm just going to try to avoid hitting this area with my head.
Because what people don't understand is you can fight out of a clinch and you can punch out of a clinch. You can punch when somebody's trying to go into a clinch. So if Katie Taylor doesn't tuck her chin and she tries to walk in for a clinch or remove herself, there is a good chance that like Serrano can pop an uppercut or like throw in like a really close like hook. And that shit it's like dropping a hook in. If her chin's up, that's especially because Serrano's known for knocking out her opponents. So, like, yes, you tuck the chin and yes, you lead with the forehead, but that is just how you're taught to keep yourself safe. You know, protect yourself at all times.
As a casual viewer, it's very easy to look at Katie Taylor and be like, wow, she's not, like, her posture doesn't look as, like, upright and, like, as clean as Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
But that is just a style thing.
It is a style thing.
It does look ugly.
Yeah.
Like, admittedly.
I mean, Serrano is a very pretty boxer. Like, she is, like, one of the cleanest boxers. Her form is so tight. It's so good. She throws great combos. And it does, like, comparatively look, in my opinion, you know, Katie Taylor's a bit more, like,
rough.
Yeah. And that's Irish fighting, right? I mean, again, you're looking at the different fighting styles. But in my opinion, you know, the right fighter won.
Hey, you, go to our Patreon. We did a vlog instead of a bog. And this week we're also going to be uploading a new bog. So look forward to that. Only $5 a month. Easy peasy.
There was the local, the woman who worked at the museum was saying that cows sometimes randomly climb up these like mountains and then fall off. And then the road's blocked because there's cow pancakes.
It's so gross to imagine that.
Yeah.
Like, we're just driving along and all of a sudden we see a cow, like,
fall to its death.
Fucking I wasn't thinking that we'd see it fall. I was just thinking about coming upon a cow that's like sideways, splat on the road.
Well, yeah, they apparently...
Would they explode? Now,
Yeah.
I think we should talk about the Paul versus Tyson fight. Let me just say, the lead up to this thing, I had so many people texting me, random people saying like,
Oh, man.
do you think the slap was rigged or scripted? Do you think that this fight is rigged or scripted? Plenty of people saying, this shit is scripted. This shit is fixed. This shit is whatever. Let me just say that I have a presentation to break all that down for you.
Nice.
And I will try to voice things appropriately. You guys can interrupt me at any time if you have questions or comments. But I will try to voice it for the listeners, because I know a lot of you do listen. And I know last time when we did like the Pokemon presidential candidate thing, it was like, I think a little bit hard sometimes. So I'll try to voice everything that we're talking about. There's really not too much in the way of visuals. So I think I need to fix that.
I was like, I
Sorry, I
went to
should have been more
PowerPoint and...
prepared. I'm going to have to go to the PowerPoint for it to get fixed.
Because I'm proud to be...
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
All right. Was Paul versus Tyson scripted or fixed? I dated it here because
Nice.
it brought me back to my childhood.
Oh, sorry. I like switched us when you switched
My
that.
childhood, where I used to put dates on things.
Yeah. Oh.
No.
Unironically, too.
Yeah, no, yeah. I used to date things.
Sports will always... There's an asterisk next to the no.
I was going to say, what's it? Oh, because I understand.
What?
I remember being in university. Asterisk means there's a point somewhere else that you have to read.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I needed to do that for myself.
Okay, cool. And then I wrote, sports will always be theoretically fixed or scripted depending on who you are looking at or what you are looking at or who you're talking to. I think Anissa can relate to this idea.
What does that mean?
There is always a human component to these sports.
Yeah.
And so from the judging, you have the judges who all like see different things and have different levels of bias. Even if it isn't being judged, maybe it's being refed, which is another version of judges in a way, because they're judging, all sorts of plays and, football.
They have their preconceived notions,
soccer,
things.
all these things. Yeah, different refs have different. I mean, we had a whole podcast on this a while ago. Like, it is all up to other people to be like, I'll let it slide. Not too offensive here. I'll let it go. And then you have other refs who are like, fucking bring out their magnifying glass and they're like, something fucking happened here.
So there's
Like,
always human intervention.
There's always human intervention. And even in the players themselves, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, when they're fighting, it's like, is that bad sportsmanship? Is that like, should that be even considered illegal? Once someone gets a cut on their head, like if you at all touch them with your head at any point in time, like maybe a new rule should be that she's deducted every time her face touches.
Well, that is an interesting point because I think there are people like you. I think if your opponent had a cut on their face,
I would avoid it.
You would avoid it.
Yeah.
Me and a lot of really competitive people, I'm hitting that shit.
Yeah, you're hitting that shit.
And over and over again.
You're shifting around them. You're punching them in the back of the head.
Yeah, no, not that one. But I am hitting that shit because that is
right. That's the game.
That's the game.
Yeah.
But so it's even in that way. It's like how the fighter feels. Ryan McGee when he hit the mat, he could have been like, "I'm done," right? Like Steven, or what do I always call him? Graham Stephan. He called it himself.
Yeah.
So you have like these two very different humans that made very different decisions at different degrees of like, this is getting harder. So it's all, choices.
Yeah.
Human choices.
Person's level of competitiveness.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I mean by the no asterisk. It's essentially to say like, it's not scripted in the way or rigged or fixed in the way that like fucking everything is that way, It would have to be obvious. It would have to be like, there's a lot of reason and a lot of evidence to suggest it. Not just someone being like, like Does this seem like rigged? Because Mike Tyson could definitely kill Jake Paul if he wanted to. Like, everyone has like a silly little thought like that, but I don't think those thoughts should really be like encouraged. All right.
What about the thought that I had where Jake Paul could have easily put Mike Tyson down?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. That's a great point.
But he didn't.
Yes.
Why don't you think he did that?
Okay, so in my opinion, my personal opinion, is that Jake Paul, at some point, probably after the second round, realized this is an old man that I'm fighting, and it shows.
Yeah.
He's not able to move around. I could literally spend the rest of this fight just avoiding him, and I will still win.
Yeah. Instead of teeing off on an old man.
Right. So in that case, you could call that a scripted fight from that point on.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's deciding, I am not going to give it my all to put him down. I'm just going to win.
Because you don't want to risk his life.
You don't want to risk his
I
life.
don't think people realize
But what if
how...
that decision was made before the fight happened?
No, there's
would you
no
call that-
way.
You don't think that's even a possibility that decision was made?
I mean, it could have been, but this is the difference is like, how official is that decision? Is that decision between Jake and his coach and him basically just say like, listen, Mike's an old guy, so just feel it out, see what's going on. And if you can get away with avoiding him and just touching him.
I'm even saying that you don't think there's a possibility, because I think that when people are talking about the possibility that it was scripted or rigged, what they're talking about is the possibility that, like, literally Jake calls Mike on his phone privately and says, the benefit of this is that you get a lot of money and I get a lot of money, and there's like a lot of press around this thing. And you basically, all you have to do is just stand there and defend, and I'll just like punch you for a little bit, and I won't try and knock you out. And you have to promise not to knock me out, and then we both win.
So here's the counter argument to that. I have a few.
Okay.
One, I've met a lot of pro athletes, male athletes, and I've just met a lot of men that played in sports. Asking a man who has played competitively, have you ever tried to get an old man to stop driving? Right?
I haven't, but I can understand it.
Yeah. They're not going to fucking give up.
My grandfather, I think, drove until he literally...
They will risk their
couldn't.
life.
Yeah.
They do not want to believe that they have lost the ability to do a thing. Even getting my dad to retire was like...
Couldn't happen.
It was it was very hard. So telling an old man who is very, obviously the best in the sport, like, you're not capable of banging with this person, like... Even having that conversation, I think, would be very difficult, if not impossible. I don't think he believes that he needed to be played with kid gloves.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you watch the fight, the first round, Jake was genuinely terrified.
Yes.
And he was trying, Tyson was trying to knock him out. That was where the steam ended for him, though. And Jake knew that and figured it out. You could tell, like, Jake's like, oh, this is kind of sad.
Yeah.
And the commentators started going like, oh, God. But it's, I'm telling you, like, trying to get an old man to admit that they're slowing down and their body's slowing down and that they're mortal is like...
Yeah.
It's very hard.
I mean, that's why this fight happened in the first place. Is we didn't even want to believe that Mike is not the same person.
Mehdi Hassan, within the first 2 minutes on Twitter, was like, Tyson still got it. And then, like, 5 minutes later, he was like, this aged really poorly.
Yeah.
People wanted to believe, including, I think, Mike and everyone surrounding him.
Yeah, but I guess to better...
It's interesting. I just want to say, I think that you're right in general, that, like, getting like older athletes to admit that they're past their prime is generally pretty hard.
Yeah.
But it feels like in the case of Mike Tyson, he's like gone completely black-pilled on his legacy. And like, you can watch any interview that he's done before that fight. And I've seen a bunch of them clipped on Twitter ever since, where he's just kind of like, I don't give a damn about my legacy. Like, who cares about what people think about me when I'm dead? Like, he doesn't seem to like subscribe to that, which made it a little bit more suspicious to me that like maybe there's a possibility that he was just more open to like not really trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's totally possible. I think your initial question about it being scripted or rigged is like lends to the little asterisk at the beginning of the no with the no.
Yeah.
Because like truthfully, like yes, literally every sport can be rigged. Every match can be rigged to an extent. And like that's what makes it like the best fucking, that's what makes a conspiracy in the first place, is like it can never be fucking proven or disproven.
Yeah. The one thing we can disprove though fully is that the slap was not staged.
Right.
We know for sure that the slap was not staged.
Yeah, just because he stepped on his little toesies.
Yeah, he stepped on his toes. He didn't like that.
But yeah, I mean, all of these things can be true simultaneously, basically, where it's like, you're right, like fucking Mike Tyson has like less pride or ego or whatever it would be. Bro just wants to make a bag. But also, like, how awesome would it be? Like, he could totally have the mindset of how awesome would it be if I could fucking knock out
him
Jake
out.
Paul?
I think he did genuinely.
And you know, he could also be realistic and know that
it's going to have to happen in the first round, or that's it.
And the way it all plays out, it is kind of like, it is predictable.
Yeah.
There was even a Tony Jeffries actually had this funny video where he labeled it like, oh, the script leaked for
the Jake Paul Tyson fight.
Fury. Yeah, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. And he was like, it was leaked on Twitter. And then he starts like reading this and this leaked script. And it's all of these things that would just naturally happen anyway. It said, like, Mike Tyson's going to come out and lead with the jab. And he's like, yeah, that's what everyone fucking, like, leads with in boxing.
That's, like, what you do.
Mike Tyson's going to come out swinging the first 2 rounds. And it's like, yeah, that's
what old people do.
That's what he can do.
This is all useful information for if you're making bets.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
But, like, I think I just really want to, like, my instinct and my information that I know about who is involved in like Jake's corner and like how all of that operates, I think that there's like a very low chance that there was like a phone call where it was very out in the open. I think
ridiculous.
It was Yeah, I think
that
it was
concept is from a fucking movie.
Yeah, it was definitely more like Jake. I think as it got closer, Jake was realizing the risks that were involved and was realizing that there's like a high chance that he looks like an asshole.
Yes.
If he's not careful with how he
There's so many reasons. Yeah. Netflix.
Yeah.
They got an awesome deal with Netflix. Maybe they can have another awesome deal with Netflix so long as it isn't some massive global controversy that he hospitalized Mike Tyson.
I know.
No one would want to see that.
I really got I had a hard time watching.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the thing. Every sports event ever has been described as scripted, fixed, or rigged. Right now, I just Googled some general stuff. World Cup rigged, Super Bowl being fake or scripted. Literally every year that the Super Bowl happens, someone says that it's scripted.
Triple G and Canelo's on there too.
I just thought of the most like random, well-respected fight that I've heard of and seen, and that was Triple G versus Canelo. And, you know, you get enough boxing heads together in a room and someone's going to be like, actually.
Yeah.
Do you notice whose promotion it was?
Yeah.
Do you notice who the judges were? It's just conspiracy shit.
Also, like, I do want to point out, and this has been verified, this is a thing that does happen sometimes. Not very often, but there is something called like a knockout clause that can happen in boxing where there's like agreements of like if somebody gets knocked out, they don't get paid or blah, blah, blah. That does exist and has been implemented before in like celebrity events. But this is not one of those situations.
Yeah, and a lot of it is, I would say There's like rematch clauses as well.
Yeah, rematch clauses is another one.
I don't know. There's a lot of.
But those contracts always get leaked. Always get leaked after the fact. Because like they're contracts, people have them physically. You can put them out.
I even have on here little comments about Miss USA pageant being fixed or rigged.
Wow.
Literally everything where there's some amount of stakes and someone wanting to win or lose, or people wanting their person to win or lose. You, of course, have people saying it's fucking fixed and rigged, especially when there's money on the line.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, but all of that aside, hold on. All of that aside, do you believe that there are still instances of sports or competitions being fixed or rigged?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Has the Stanley Cup ever been fixed?
Oh.
Yes. The Stanley Cup has been fixed multiple times. The Stanley Cup is often damaged during celebrations.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I just had to include this because I thought this AI response was the funniest shit.
That is very
It's
funny.
talking about the literal physical Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and it has indeed been fixed.
And it has been fixed
That's good.
because
Yeah, that's good. I'm
yes,
glad.
people dent it, all sorts of bad stuff.
Nice. I do like
Too
that.
brittle.
Yeah. All right. What are the reasons to script a fight? These are the reasons I could come up with. If you guys have any comments, any thoughts.
I do want to share an interesting
know.
factoid.
Yeah.
So because I, obviously worked with the Boxing Commission and I was the liaison between fighters and the Boxing Commission, something I learned is that they're very cautious of fight fixing, these commissions, and they have a lot of things that they do to stop fight fixing because gambling is so prolific in the boxing world that they have to really be preemptive when it comes to like possible fixings. So some of the things that they do is limit who can be in the back rooms of fight night. So like in the dressing rooms, fighters could only have one person basically, and it had to be verified by the Boxing Commission. You have to give the gloves to the Boxing Commission the night before, so they hold on to them so nobody can like fuck with the gloves or anything. There is so much prevention of match fixing. They keep it very tight because of that. In CS:GO, there was like this guy who infamously threw matches on purpose.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He got banned from. I actually got some of my clout on Twitch from him. Steel, I think his name was. He was throwing matches in competitive CS:GO because he was getting money from the match fixers.
Oh.
And so he got banned from competitive CS:GO, and then he got banned from Twitch like very shortly after that.
Okay, let's go back to the thing. So the reasons I have for scripting a fight or fixing it, whatever, I'm kind of lumping it all together, but technically they could all be different terms. To maintain a clean record for your fighter, obviously for Jake Paul, like he already has a loss from Tommy Fury, so kind of like not super relevant in that case. To have an entertaining fight, more viewers, more opportunities, more money, potentially. It's a very vague attribution because it's like, well, if you're going to have a more entertaining fight, you would expect like, ooh, there were 2 knockdowns and this and that. And like, it just made people feel like it was worth it and they want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Or they tell people about it. You got to see this. So it could vaguely lead to more money, but hard to say. And then the last one I have is, so people who have bet on your fighter get paid, the money aspect. And this one seems like the most obvious reason to do it in my mind.
Yeah.
But I think when people are talking about fights being rigged or scripted or anything like that, oftentimes they don't really like mention that aspect of it.
It's interesting because that's the like historically the biggest
reason. Yeah.
Yeah, like the mafia was heavily involved with.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I was reading that.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s, there was a like really bad match fixing problem in the NBA with crooked refs.
Yeah.
It actually affected like I think the 2002 finals where like the Lakers won when they had like a ref who was notorious for doing that kind of thing.
Did you
Officiating it?
do you know if they like reversed or like
No.
investigated it? And okay,
They investigated it, and he was caught and sent to prison.
okay,
Wow.
But they never reversed it.
yeah.
That's why it sucks. Like when these sports, there's so much money in these sports that it like is almost impossible to keep those actors out of it.
We got to take the money out of the sports.
I mean, I honestly, I do think that like there are certain sports that have been polluted by money to the point where it's like probably more likely that that kind of thing is happening.
For sure.
And I think that the more money on the line for something, the more volatile it becomes for everybody's interests.
Yeah.
So I feel like the percentage of it being likely that there's some like unfair or devious like match fixing esque or just straight up match fixing going on is it gets higher, I think, naturally, the more money that is involved. Like whenever there's like not really that much on the line except for your ego is starting to take like precedence. Clearly.
So like for example, the Great British Bake Off definitely has never been fixed.
Well, no, that's a reality show, and as we know that those are completely real, since the word reality is in the name of the show.
But they don't win any money.
No, but they get to be on TV, which for people who participate in those, I'm sure is like the biggest honor of all. I get to be on TV.
I do get the sense, though, with those shows, they try to just be like fair and inclusive. And if they're like, oh, we haven't had like a guy win this shit in a little while, they'll just be like, we'll give it to the guy this year. You're not as good.
Yeah, no, I think that does happen for sure.
Which you could label that as fixed
or
scripted or whatever. But it's
But
not.
full disclosure, I mean, like I am more on the side that like when it comes to high profile sports events, like I find it hard to believe that like there isn't somebody at least in the background going to be like, how can we politicize this in our favor? And to me, that is kind of match fixing.
Know what I mean? Yeah, but I think when you say that, I'm like, they've done that already by just what they've created. Like they get to choose who Jake is fighting.
Yeah.
And they chose an old man, an old retired.
So
Mike
is it fair
Tyson.
for me to say that it was scripted in that sense?
In that sense,
Yeah, totally. But that's like boxing, period. Like if
So-
you look at all.
So also full disclosure, I think that that's shitty about that sport.
No,
and
no,
I think
I
that
agree.
sucks ass.
I agree.
And it makes me not want to watch it.
I agree. I think it. I would argue again, not to like simp for our business partner, but if there's somebody who is, matching up or great fights, just except for Jake, it is Mike who is Mike Leonardi is the one who he does the matchups for MVP, and he did the matchups for all the fights leading up to Jake's fight. And those were all amazing fights. And I think he's done a really good job. If you watch any of his matchmaking events, they're really good.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that it's like, for what you're talking about, Dane, that you really like don't like that aspect and it makes you not want to watch it. I think basically the thing that helps that is just kind of finding a fighter that you like.
Yeah. And then following them.
Or a promotion that you like.
Yeah.
And following that, because there are a lot of fighters who are like, they're known to not take easy fights. They're known to take competitive, good fights. Sometimes they may take an easy fight, but that's just like the kind of the nature of the game where it's like, they're not looking to make a ton of money on it or anything like that. They have to fight because, the rules of the belts, or they need to fight to prepare for another fight kind of thing. So it's all like part of it.
I think if you're watching the big money makers, it's more often that way. But there's fighters like, here's a great example, Canelo. Canelo has fought guys that like he had no business fighting because they were just so much fucking bigger than him, like Bivol. And he went out there and he fought and he lost. But he was like a great fighter. Even the fight between him, there was another fight, Caleb Plant. Like Caleb Plant was a dangerous opponent.
Yeah.
And it was a great fight. So there are, I guess, like I am being a bit cynical. There are a lot of really respectable, admirable promotions and fighters that are out there. But unfortunately, the ones that get the, Netflix special, more often than not, they're going to be.
Yeah.
They're more spectacle.
Yeah.
I get that.
So
That's good advice for somebody who would be interested in watching the actual act of boxing. as well.
the sport.
Unfortunately, for me, it's still hard for me to watch the good fights. Like, for example, I tuned into the one that happened before between, what were their names?
Serrano
Katie Taylor
and
and Amanda
Taylor.
Serrano.
Yeah.
And even though that was very clearly like the fucking commentators were going nuts. So even as like a super casual viewer who is just kind of like, oh, they're punching each other, I don't know exactly what's going on. I could tell that it was like a highly respectable fight. That being said, it was still very difficult for me to watch. I don't know what it is about boxing, but for me personally, I just don't really like seeing people punch each other. I don't know what it is. And I've, because of your guys' journey with Creator Clash, I've been more exposed to it than I had been in the past. So it was kind of me discovering over time that like I just don't think I enjoy watching that. I don't know what it is, because like I'm not really adverse to watching like violence. Maybe I am. I don't know, because like all of the violence that I'm exposed to is mostly just like in movies and shit like that. So maybe whenever I just see people doing that, it's harder for me to get excited about it, because I'm just like, ugh.
I think my initial reason for not liking it, because I think I didn't like boxing before I started doing it as well. And I think for me, it's the lack of feedback. Like I think if there was like, if we exaggerated all the hits that these people received, and they're fucking like their heads fucking flung back with every hit, and they were like, oh, when they got a fucking hit in the body, I would be like,
sport,
this is kind of sick.
Part of the sport is not showing when you're hurt.
Yeah.
Which is like,
are you saying that like maybe I would like it more if they reacted stronger to the violence?
Because
I feel like
that's what I'm saying for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think
it's not a feedback thing for me. I can tell that they're getting fucking demolished and hurt. That like Amanda Serrano getting a huge ash. That's like the worst cut I've ever seen on a boxer's face ever. It was disgusting, and they were like super close on her face. So I was like, "This is fucking gore."
I know.
I don't want to
watch.
I don't want to watch this. Like I was just like, when are you gonna get to Jake Paul where I know he's not gonna do anything?
Yeah. When I'm talking about feedback, it's more so from like a.
Like if there were sound effects, like boy,
well, in the same way that when you're watching fucking when you're watching the NFL, it fucking sucked tremendous ass before they started to put those little bars across the field, so you know when, like how far they need to go.
You want indicators.
Yeah, gamifying it a little bit. You mean?
I think
well, just making it easier to follow. Like I don't know who the fucks up on points or who's winning by the time we get to the fucking final round. It's like it's just nonsense.
Yeah, for me personally, I think for a lot of people who are watching boxing, it reminds me of like the first time I watched a league game or a league play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is even happening on this screen? Why? I don't even understand why this is like hard or impressive. And there's like a bunch of things exploding.
Yeah.
And I was like very confused. And then when you start playing it and you understand the like intricacies of what's going on and like how hard certain things are to do and like what is cool, suddenly the like, flash into an ult that I didn't know what the fuck it was is like the craziest thing ever.
Right.
And for a lot of people, like boxing it's a very high learning curve, like it's a steep learning curve sport where like it's if all you're looking at is two people punching, it isn't interesting.
Yeah.
It's not. If you can understand like what is actually happening and the conversation that they're having with each other while fighting, it suddenly becomes a lot more interesting. Because I'm not I don't like watching people
Violence.
get hurt. I don't like watching people get hit in the head. But I have such a aggressive respect for what has to happen in the ring and how they have to adjust to things and how hard things are, that I have fallen in love with it because of that. So I think that's kind of where the disconnect is.
Right. I mean, to me, that feels more like desensitization.
Probably,
because you have pushed past that,
yeah,
like adversity to seeing violence.
yeah,
Like it's easier to kind of put it in the background because you have experienced like that, like respect. And
yeah.
I just haven't. I mean, like it's been so much a way bigger part of your life
Yeah.
than mine, so it makes sense that would happen as opposed to me. But I just haven't. I don't know. I can't move past it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
So.
All right, next slide is why wouldn't you script or fix a fight?
Dude, for one split second, I thought you put porn up. Because I just saw like bodies, like
Yeah.
naked bodies.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Mike
For
Tyson
one split
and
second, I
Jake
thought it
Paul, they had their shirts off during the face-off.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of flesh
It's
on
a lot of
screen.
flesh. It's a lot of
Yeah.
tight.
Like an AI
Flesh.
algorithm would interpret that as being like graphic.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake Paul is about to suck on a big black dong.
Didn't he like do a video where he was like shadow boxing a
A big
Big
penis?
black
Yeah,
dildo?
I think so.
yeah.
Anyway, you wouldn't script or fix a fight because you would feel like a loser, a failure. You would actually be a loser internally, and all of your training would have no purpose.
That's true.
If you get caught, you risk embarrassment, being banned for life of
Yeah.
the sport that you presumably enjoy. You get heavy fines and potentially criminal charges of fraud or conspiracy. So the risk is high for something especially like this, where it's like you're already winning. You're literally winning at life in every imaginable way.
Yeah.
Jake's making 40 million. All of his team is making millions.
Yep.
Mike
You have a
Tyson's
beautiful
making
beard.
Millions. Yeah, you can. I'm just gonna go right over that. Yeah, it's an awesome scenario on its face. There's like, honestly, like it's not worth. It's so high consequence.
Yeah.
If you fuck that up.
Yeah. And you don't need to fix a match against an old man.
No, you don't. You fixed it by choosing the old man.
Yes.
That was the fixing.
Yeah.
But why would the old man agree to do this, you think?
Mortality is a hard thing to face.
Yeah, and why would Shaq continue to do commercials
And
even
sell
though
gummies.
he's made of money?
No, but I mean, that's the difference between what if Shaq started playing for the Lakers right now?
I mean, that
Like,
the Lakers would never allow that.
No, of course not. Because
If
But
Shaq,
if they
if
just
the
had him
Lakers
come out for
called-
one game, he would.
Listen, if the Lakers called up Shaq and said, "We fucking need you. We need you," Shaq would be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I think that if they wanted to feed his delusion, he would do it. I think
I think his first question would be like, how much money are you paying me though?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
for sure. I mean, that's definitely absolutely.
And if the price ain't right, then like why would he risk his like body to do that? Right?
Because listen, one of our relatives, I'm not going to say who it was. One of our relatives, who is well above the age of 50, decided that they wanted to speed around on an ATV and crash into a tree. Old men do not give a fuck about preserving their body. They're here for a short time, not a long time. They don't want to think about their body being fragile. They're there to fucking
But
turn up.
I'm trying to understand, Dane. Is there a particular point you're honing in on?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Oh,
You
okay.
want me to do that?
Okay, no, that's valid. That's valid. I when you're playing
I mean,
devil's advocate,
also,
I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, I am 50% on the side of like. I mean, I don't really care either way. I mean, you make a lot of good points. Like, yeah, there is a lot of risk, but I think that like missing or dismissing the idea that it could have happened, and is probably very more likely to happen in this specific situation. I think this is like what we were talking about a little bit before. I think what you're doing with the slideshow is defending the principle of sports. And that's very noble. And you're probably very right about that. But I think in the case of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, like it's such a spectacle.
Made the point through this that fighting an old man, and like Jake having a history of fighting old men, and like it being his promotion, and them being able to essentially like pick and choose what they want when they want it, and be able to write the contract and all of that. Like, you can call that a scripted fight. What I think, though, is that when a lot of people say that this is scripted or fixed in some way, they're not talking about that stuff, because that's obvious. Those are just the facts. That's reality.
Yeah.
What they're talking about when they say something scripted is that, like what fucking Tony Jeffries brought up on Twitter, which is a literal script of Mike Tyson grabbing his chest in the third round and collapsing to the floor.
Also, let me also just say something that really frustrates me, bringing this back to the election. There was a bunch of people that were saying that the election was stolen in 2020.
Right.
Then when Trump won, magically, it was not. There was no election fraud anymore. And I just want to say, like, Jake Paul has lost, right, to a young boxer. He lost to Tommy Fury. If match fixing was going on, why would you not fix the match, like script the match that actually would need to be scripted,
right,
to make sure that Jake won?
And that's
Jake
the one
lost.
that would be the easiest, because it was close and it went to decision.
Yes, Jake lost.
Yeah.
So like this, just people wanting it to be. I think that's where my frustration comes, where it's like, obviously, like, if it was something that they were doing, he would not have lost to Fury.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
And he was not a good, he did not show up that night. He was really struggling. And I think maybe there's a little bit of frustration because, one, we know the ins and outs of the politics of boxing, and we know the ins and outs of just the people involved. Like, our business partner is part of MVP now and has been for the last couple years. So like, it's just like so funny to like hear these things.
Yeah,
as someone that is
I
closer
think
to it.
It just feels distracting. Here, I gotta, just because I think this will be a little bit more satisfying. What happens when a fight is obviously rigged? So this is a really cool post I found on Reddit. It says, today I learned the boxer who beat Roy Jones Jr. in the 1988 Olympics in a controversial split decision wishes he had lost. Park Si-hoon was so traumatized by his contentious victory that he retired from boxing after the end of the games. Now, I was thinking about showing this, but I'll just describe it to you guys.
Okay.
Basically, Roy Jones Jr. absolutely fucking pummeled this guy. It was like so obvious that he like won. Even if you don't know boxing, it's very obvious. But like the athlete who did get the gold medal, he felt terrible about it. And it wasn't even his decision.
Sad.
It was the judges. The judges decided to do it. And I think it was investigated, and kind of like how a lot of these things go. I think they found some sort of like shadiness, some bribery and stuff of judges. But they just kind of let that shit fly. They don't really go back and like, what's the word? Remediate it. They don't. They
don't take medals away.
Yeah, they don't do that. They're just like, oh, that happened. That sucks. We'll try to do better for the future. And that's a lot of the times what happens. Like, these are the fights that are rigged, is these ones that like kind of go under the radar, and it's not really easy or obvious to prove. At the time, but oftentimes, at least for boxing, it is stuff like this where the results come up and it just goes in one person's favor. Like you can call the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight rigged.
Yeah.
You can call a lot of these things rigged. But
I think the problem is what I'm kind of listening to Dane go back and forth with you. I think similar to the like how the word love has like a huge like umbrella of like what that can mean. Rigged, it encompasses a lot.
Yeah.
Like Dane is correct that like even just picking Tyson, you could say that's rigged.
Or Tyson agreeing.
Or whatever, down to like them actually like colluding.
Right.
And like
But
all of it's rigged.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though, is like I feel like using the words, it's so fucking useless.
No, I agree.
Use these words.
So there's like a communication problem or like a
until-
definition problem or a language problem.
Well, yeah, it's the only reason I'm bringing this up in the first place is not that any of you guys say this shit's rigged.
No, I'm
It's
just trying to
because
add to the
of-
conversation. I just find it interesting
Yeah.
that this is like, it's more to me interesting that like this conversation, I think the reason why it has so much legs, like there are people obviously that are what you were talking about, like they believe it's scripted and they mean it in the most authentic way, like scripted.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like getting behind it or saying like yes or whatever.
Because they believe
Because it's-
that aspect of
It's
it.
such a range that I think that it picks up a lot more steam because that word is so wide.
Well, yeah, and you bring up a good point because that's probably what fuels most of the conspiracy theories as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what does it mean that the election was stolen?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, like election interference.
Yeah.
Like hiding Hunter Biden's laptop on Twitter.
Right.
Like some people think that's stealing the election. So like
Very good point.
yeah, there's just like this wide spectrum that collects everyone. It's like a big net that you want to
maybe
collect.
we need a new word. Like we need like a new phrase or something to refer to to what each person is talking about. Because I think like what you're talking about are people who are saying scripted as in like literally there's a script,
Yeah.
right? Fixed as in like
The outcome is already
parties agreed
established.
is established beforehand by the powers that be. And then there's the other end of it, which is like it's organized in a way where it's like heavily favoring one person.
Yes. Tipped
Rigged.
So what's the
tipped in
word for
favor.
that though? Yeah,
I
but
would
what's
say-
the word for that?
I would say tipped in the favor of, or like
Yeah, we need something a little bit more snappy, like rigged or
Yeah.
fixed.
because that's what it is. And
Well, that's my problem with the word scam as well.
oh yes,
That one's been
scam.
way too fucking
Yeah.
overused.
Yeah, scams have been way overused as well.
This is an English problem, maybe.
But-
we need to come up with a cool word.
I mean, generally, I just think it's people being irresponsible in their use of it. That's why I made this fucking slideshow. Is like
yeah, but what are we supposed to call this fight then? You know?
a sham,
Lame.
shitty.
Okay, shitty or sham or
Sham?
immoral.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go to the
Yeah.
next slide.
Okay.
All right.
Let's talk about things that are grounded in reality. You can ask questions like, is Mike Tyson too old to be doing this? Was this main event material? How did it make you feel seeing Mike Tyson not being able to move like he did when he was younger?
Yeah.
Was this entertaining? Was it kind of funny to see Mike Tyson's booty cheeks?
That was
That
funny.
was pretty cool.
These are things that we can talk about that we actually saw and we have evidence for. And
I
that-
understand.
Huh.
I just understand the core of what you're
Getting at?
getting at, which is like so much of our discussions in general, especially online, are not grounded in reality anymore, and we're pulling from imaginations and conspiracy and fear. And when there's so many obvious things that we could be talking about that are useful.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
I love the topic of him being way too old to do this. I was astounded how many, because I was formulating a tweet when I was watching the fight because I heard the announcer of the fight being like, this is the largest age disparity
Yeah, that was-
in professional boxing history.
Yeah.
Like, that was a cool thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck kind of reality are we living in? And I was like, all right, I'm going to tweet what I just heard and say how fucking crazy that is.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, someone else is going to tweet this shit.
Yeah.
And it seemed like no one fucking cared at all about
No one-
that. That was
yeah.
already like accepted. And I don't know. We just.
My favorite was when the woman commentator was confused as to why Jake Paul wasn't just teeing off on the 58-year-old man.
Kill him.
Why isn't he just teeing off on him? I was like, what?
Yeah. So some people who don't watch boxing that talk to me about it, they were like concerned. They were like, why didn't Mike Tyson just knock him out?
Oh.
And they thought like Mike Tyson was holding back.
Oh.
And he could have just easily gone in there and just fucking taken his head off. Why did he stop moving around in round 3?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, fucking he couldn't.
Yeah.
He
Well, if a
literally
fly's
couldn't.
bothering you, why don't you just slap it out of the air?
Why don't you catch it with your index finger
Why
and
don't
your
you just-
thumb?
Yeah, why don't you
squeeze
just catch
it.
it with your chopsticks?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
squeeze it.
You know what it reminded me of watching that fight?
Huh.
You know how when you're like a little kid, like 6,
Yeah.
and your dad is like huge and powerful,
Yeah.
and like you get into these like play fights with him where like you're like hitting him like, and he's just kind of standing there and like not really reacting because you're a little child.
Yes.
And like you're hitting him and hitting him, and he's just kind of like standing there and not doing anything. And occasionally he'll be like, "Ow, oh, ow,"
Yeah.
like trying to make you feel like you're like making progress, but like really you're not really making progress. But in reality, as a little child, you're actually also not going as hard as you could because you don't want to hurt your dad. You don't want to like
Yeah.
get in trouble.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like there's this kind of weird understanding between you two where it's just like, well, I'm gonna let you, you know, mess around with your dad and make you feel like you're a big shot, but at the same time the person doing the punching is like holding back because they don't want to hurt their dad.
Mm.
That's how it felt to me, where it's just kind of like there was this weird like unspoken mutual respect vibe in the air where they were just kind of like,
Yeah.
do we really have to do this? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what I got from it, and to me that felt like it wasn't legitimate for that reason.
Maybe it's
Well,
because...
that's a great description of it because I feel the same.
Oh, man, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
maybe...
the whole time.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, maybe it's because I'm, like, really cynical, but I think after everything that's happened this month, having a reminder that we're all mortal and things get fucking harder over time and things change and, like, you know, all these horrible things, you're watching it be cemented to you in this fight where, like, it felt like desperately, like, Mike Tyson wanted to give more. He
Right.
wanted to do more, but he like couldn't. And you saw like the neurological like kind of like shake and the way that he was moving, his knees were really bad. And it was like, I don't want to be reminded that like we're all decaying. Like on top of
And
everything
Mike-
else that's happening. I don't need this mortal hell. Like just I just want to watch fucking
Yeah.
a Disney movie or something. Fuck. Sad.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
Reality struck.
Yeah, it's just like it was a cold splash of water of reality on top of everything else that we've been.
For sure.
So I think
It
that's
was really funny. I think one of the commentators was just like, "There's a reason why Father Time is unbeatable," and I was like, "That's a great line. That's just like
Fuck.
so dour,
Yeah.
depressing."
Yeah.
But
not
said with
not
that
giving
kind of
credit to
excitement.
Jake. I
Yeah.
love that. Damn,
Yeah.
Father Time is 10-0. That's crazy.
fuck.
You
It's
know.
true.
Also, poor Mike. He was hungry. He kept biting his glove trying to eat it. He was hungry the whole time. He was trying to eat it.
That also made it
Aw.
really hard to watch. Like
sad.
that, like because there's a lot of ways of looking at it. A nervous tick, you could look at it as an anxious thing. You could look at it as like a
trying to
his
recall his
brain
power kind of
Right.
thing. I think something that made me really
frustration.
sad.
Like I'm not able to hit. I can't get to him.
Yeah, I said to Ian during this, it reminds me of like the really old dog that like thinks that he can like still like play with the other dogs and you just like have to like sadly watch him like try to like
Yeah.
catch up
Yeah. Exactly.
and it's just like
Yeah.
This just, I mean, I know this is not an unpopular opinion, but it just like makes me just despise Jake Paul.
Yeah. No, I
Because
mean,
like he's such a piece of shit for like putting that together. Like why like can't you just like fight people your own age? Like I don't understand. Like I know that Mike Tyson is a legend and it's like it would be cool to say that you beat Mike Tyson or whatever.
yeah.
It's like a cool thing to be able to say. I get the appeal, and obviously there's the appeal of like it would draw a lot of attention and eyes.
Yeah.
But like I don't understand between this and the whole like we talked about this before I think on the podcast, the whole we done with the 90s thing, which is like the entire reason why that's even a discussion is because people can't just leave the past in the past.
I
Like
know.
why can't you guys just make legends out of your own like era?
Yeah.
Like why do you have to like mix these things? It's like just leave it for us. Like let us remember things like how they were and not stain these legacies
that's
in
why
our
I'm
eyes. Like why do you have
angry.
to do this to people?
Yes, I think you've touched on something that I didn't even realize that was making me angry. Is like it's very similar to Eminem making the like "fuck blind people" music, where it's like now my memory of Tyson is him like moving around like my dad when he's like having a bad day, and I don't want to think of Mike Tyson like that. And now that's my like memory. In the same way that when I think of Eminem, I think of like that's a real hot coffee pot. Like I don't like that.
I guess to give some credit or devil's advocate for Jake's state of mind, I think he is in the same state of mind for everyone thinking that like Mike Tyson was going to come out and do what he does best. You know,
No, I do agree.
like going into the concept of the fight, he's like, oh, this guy's like he literally. I don't think age
Jake
was
was
ever
shocked.
like a yeah.
Jake was definitely shocked. Even listening to his interview after, he did an interview after where it sounded like he was sad. Like I don't know.
And you could see the demeanor after the fight. It was
Yeah.
not like fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think he knew. I think he didn't know before that. I think a lot
How
of
could he have not
people-
have known? I mean, like you guys are
Because he's
newer-
27 and he just fights people. Like
I know, but you're like what 5-6 years older than him.
Yeah,
That doesn't really give you that much of experiential authority, especially considering the fact that you've been in 2 fights and he's been in a lot more. Like, I don't know. Like we talked about this on the podcast, like a few months ago, like right, like or a long time ago actually.
Yeah,
back
we
when this
talked
fight was
about
announced.
the Tyson thing. Here's
And
why.
immediately you guys were like, he's too old. He can't do it. He's going to lose. Like
Yeah.
immediately, like you could see that it was a bad idea. So how come you can clearly see it, but Jake can't? It's just hard to believe.
I mean, it's a personality thing.
Yeah.
I always like to describe it as how Louis C.K. is like calmly explaining to what's that guy? What's the comedian who what's his name? He's like a 90s comedian. I want to say that he fucking he's so over the top.
I don't know anything
He's a
about comedians.
fucker.
Jim Carrey.
No.
Eddie-
He's only known for like his comedy specials.
Dane Cook.
Dane. Oh yeah, Dane Cook. He's right here.
Oh, here I am.
Yeah,
And
when
Dane
Louis,
Cook is not a '90s guy, by the way.
he's not.
No,
No, he's like
2010s.
mid 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when Louis C.K. is like talking to Dane Cook I think it was in Louis, he's basically saying that you're fucking like a tornado, and I don't think it's like your fault, or I don't think it's intentional.
Yeah.
And I look at Jake and Logan the same way. They are like eyes forward. They're not looking at anything that they're passing.
I would like to separate Jake and Logan. I think Logan is very aware of the damage he's doing. I don't think Jake is nearly as aware of the.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
Logan is.
That's fair.
But I agree with you. And I also want to say, like, remember, Dane, when we talked about Tyson being too old, that was an unpopular opinion. There were people in our comments saying that we were stupid. And there are,
Really?
yes,
I'll go back and look.
there are many people, even pros, people who are pros in the space. We've heard people privately in passing when we've been in boxing spaces say like, yeah, like Tyson's old, but like it's Tyson. there were a lot of people who heavily, and I think it is people who don't want to grapple with the reality of mortality and like that things slip away with time. And there were a lot of people who just could not believe that someone as good as Tyson could ever lose to Jake Paul. There were a lot of people who are vehemently like very like there's no way that Jake can win. So I do think it's a personality thing, and I think it's because we're not as attached to these fighters, it's easier for us to be like, that one's kind of obvious.
That's a good point.
I think that's what it is. Because there were a lot of people in the boxing space that were like, they really thought that Tyson was going to kill him.
Yeah.
I started to think I was the crazy one. So, but yeah, we should go back and look at the comments on the Tyson one, because there were,
Okay.
I remember.
Okay, that is going to do it for this podcast.
Oh, wow.
We got through it. Yep.
We're going to eat lunch.
Hasta.
La vista.
Oh, baby.